Hello, happy Monday. We are back with another meeting of the minds. I am Intellecx, your host, and we are going to jump right on in to another segment. Now, if you have not been keeping up with our segments for the year, make sure to go back, right? Look at all of what we have put down for you to pick up later. All right, before we jump right on in, just a couple of announcements. We are here for you. All right, so if you need any assistance with anything, make sure to go to Intelexx.com. See all the products and services that we offer and take advantage. Connect with us so that we can help you be your best self. Book a free consultation so that you can get a customized plan for your specific artistic needs. Subscribe to our email list so that you can see what we have going on for the month. Follow us on all social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can see our content. And make sure to connect with us, be a part of our intellectual community, join our app, the Artrepreneurs Hub, a place of community, a place to be around like-minded individuals that you can bounce ideas off of, share content, ask questions, and so much more. We are here for you to be you and feel good doing it. All right. So that is our commercial break. We are going to jump right on in. If you have not um, been following us, make sure to go back once again because we are on part 7 of purpose work. Do you know what your purpose work is? If not, make sure to go back and check and see what purpose work actually means, right? Something that you love to do, whether you get paid for it or not, something that you invest your time in, something that's always on your heart, something that you're most passionate about, that you want to see a change in, something that really stirs you up on the inside, something that you love to do, right? That is your purpose work, okay? And something that comes easy to you. If you are walking in your purpose work, put down in the comments below what your purpose work is. How did you find it? What was your journey like? Okay? But we're going to jump right on in. We have been listening to Simon for the past couple segments, and he has been getting us right. So we're going to finish up what we started last time. All right, so let's dive right on in. Thank y'all so much for tuning in wherever you are. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or at wherever you're at, thank you so much. We appreciate you for rocking out with us and continuing to be with us on this uh, platform. We wouldn't be here without you. All right, so let's jump in.
And because I have ADHD, I don't like reading books, and I actually don't read a lot of... Everybody thinks I'm really well read. And I like to joke that I've actually written more books than I've read, which is true. And so the great thing about being the writer is if I'm reading my own work and I'm bored out of my skull, I just cross it out. And so if you notice in those books, they're pretty short sections and they're pretty punchy, and there's a lot of stories because I had to enjoy reading it too. So I wrote a book that I enjoyed reading. For somebody with ADHD. There's no simple answer to your question, but I didn't try and write to a standard of other people.
Yeah.
I tried to write a book that I wanted to read, and it turns out it's a really nice, simple, sweet little book, which is what I like.
But then, as you've gone on and done your other successful books, you must have had feedback that then people then... Well, it's that old saying, isn't it, that failure is often born an orphan, but success has got many fathers.
Yeah.
So lots of people then must want to offer an insight or a comment or a critique.
I don't show my work to anybody except about one person.
Who's that?
So my friend Jen Hallam, she's been with me for years. I did have somebody help me write and research named Lori Flynn for Start With Why. And she was in New York Times, because I realized I didn't want a writer. I needed a journalist, because I needed help with the research. And she would write a couple of the sections like as a journalist, and I would go write it as a but I wrote 80% of Start With Why. I wrote 90% of Leaders Eat Last, and I wrote 100% of Infinite Game. But Jen was with me for Leaders Eat Last and Infinite Game, and I've just known her for years. She doesn't work for the publisher. She actually is not an editor by trade. She just happens to be a brilliant, brilliant editor and my dear friend. And she just calls shit all the time on stuff I'm writing and says it doesn't make sense. She's the only person I trust. So I don't do any of my stuff alone, ever. But I work with the people that I want to work with. And it's usually one person. I don't give my manuscript to 10 people and say, what do you think?
So tell us about Jen then, in terms of, because that really intrigued me, that relationship of, like, you spoke about that small word with big implications of trust.
Yeah.
What one piece of feedback has she offered you, Simon, where you've gone, wow, that's an insight, or that's incredibly valuable?
Jen has a mind like it's the most incredible mind. It's really funny because I think it's okay if I say this. She is diagnosed with OCD. Not like, oh, I'm obsessive. Like, no, she's diagnosed. Like, she has OCD. She takes her meds. I have ADHD. I sometimes take my meds, and we are total opposite. Like, the things that relax her freak me out and things that relax me freak her out. It's kind of really funny. And she is fastidious for logic. And I'm really good at the big ideas. And so she will track the logic of an idea from the beginning to the middle to the end of the book, where by the end I've forgotten what it says at the beginning. And so her ability to keep track of everything and make sure that I haven't abandoned the logic from beginning to end is, I couldn't do that without her. Because I can't remember 250 pages. She can. It freaks me out.
She sounds very useful because she brings that incredible skill to your writing.
Yeah.
But how do you choose the people around you? Like, how do you choose the people that you let in? Because you will live a life, you're very well known. There'll be many people who want to be, I'll be friends with Simon. I can talk about my why every day. I imagine that's very attractive to a lot of people. So how do you choose the people in your circle?
I don't think it's particularly unique, and I don't think it's any different than anybody else. Like, how do you choose your friends? How do you choose your friends? I make friends like anybody else. You meet somebody, sometimes you're introduced to them, sometimes you meet them somewhere, you get along, you have a nice conversation, you sort of like each other, you go out once, you like each other again, or you don't, and you never talk to each other again. You both let your guards down a little bit, you both open up a little bit, you realize you've got a lot of shared values. My friends are the same as everybody else's friends, I don't think there's, one of the things that I do notice about people, who sort of had some sort of commercial success, especially the ones who had it young, is their guards go up because they live lives. I had an experience where somebody gave me incredibly bad advice that hurt me. And it was somebody in the inner circle, who I work with, a work colleague, who gave me incredibly bad advice that turned out was advice that was serving them, but not me. And it was self-serving advice they gave me, and it was very costly for me. It was very hurtful and painful. And I called up a friend of mine who's been in the public eye since like 20 years old. He's like 60 now, and I said, how do I deal with this? Like, how do you deal with it? He's like, he says, you're a product now. Like, get used to it. This is like, it never goes away. Like, you're going to live a life where you're not 100% sure. And it's like, I understand why celebrities marry celebrities. I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Because when you start to meet people, and I've gotten burned. That's, by the way, one of the things where Leaders Eat Last came from, which is, everybody knows this. When you achieve any kind of commercial success whatsoever, all your jokes are funnier and you're much better looking, right? It's just what happens.
Yeah.
And if you believe it, you're dead. If you believe your own press and you believe all the smoke that people blow, up your ass, then it's going to be a short existence.
Yeah.
But there's a story that I've told before that I live by. It's a former Undersecretary of Defense who was giving a speech at a big conference, 1,000 people or something. And while he's standing on the stage giving his prepared remarks, he stops and interrupts himself and smiles and says, last year I spoke at this exact same conference, and last year I was still the Undersecretary. Last year they flew me here, business class. There was somebody waiting for me at the airport to take me to the hotel. Somebody had already checked me in when I got to the hotel. I came down in the morning. There was somebody else waiting in the lobby to take me in another car to this same venue. They took me in the back entrance. They took me into a green room, and somebody offered me a cup of coffee in a beautiful ceramic cup. He says, this morning, I flew here coach this time. He says, I checked myself into the hotel. This morning I came down and I took a taxi to the same venue. I came in the front door. I find my way backstage. And when I said to somebody, do you have any coffee? They pointed to the coffee machine in the corner, and I poured myself a cup of coffee into this here styrofoam cup. He says, the ceramic cup was never meant for me. It was meant for the position I held. I deserve a styrofoam cup. And I think every successful person on the planet is given ceramic cups. You know, they hold doors open for you. They give you perks. They give you free products. You know, whatever it is, then they tell you you're beautiful, and they tell you you're funny, and they tell you you're smart, and you feel great. And it's no problem. Enjoy it. Be grateful for it. It's definitely fun. It's definitely surreal. But they're not giving it to you. They're giving it to the position that you currently occupy. They give it, then the next person, they'll give it to them. And there's a guy I know who's a big CEO who retired recently, and there's a big fancy party that was being thrown. This is a true story. It was a big fancy party, and he was talking to a friend of his, like, hey, did you get your invitation? And the guy goes, yeah. He goes, I didn't get mine. He must have gotten lost. He didn't realize that they were never inviting him to the party all these years. They were inviting the CEO of this company that happened to be him.
Yep.
He completely missed the plot. And so, like I said, enjoy the perks, but they're not meant for you. And I think the people that think that they deserve the ceramic cup, they've missed the plot. We all deserve styrofoam cups.
But is that, when that happens in your life,
Yeah.
does knowing your why become ever more important because it's something to keep you grounded and keep you coming back to like a North Star?
There's a combination of things. I think definitely knowing your why is a part of it. Definitely surrounding yourself with people who tell you you're an idiot is important. You know, my sister is the first person to be like, get over yourself, you know?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I can't get away with anything, you know, which is correct, you know? She's known me her whole life. I'm older, so I've got a couple years on her. But I think the other part is the way I view career, which is, and this is the importance of vision and cause, which is, you know, when I got started and I said, wouldn't this be amazing if work worked like this, you know? And people were like, I think you're completely unrealistic. I'm like, no, I think I have an idea. And an idea is an iceberg beneath the ocean, which is you're the only one who can see it. That's literally what an idea or a vision is. It's a figment of your imagination. And if you do some work that brings that idea some tangibility, some life, I gave a talk, I wrote a book, whatever it was, I did some consulting, whatever it was, that just added a little bit of tangibility. That's like a little bit of iceberg popping up so that a few people will be like, oh, I see what you're talking about now. And so throughout my whole career, somebody would be like, hey, nice job. I'd be like, tip of the iceberg. And then as my career progressed, you know, did more things, more iceberg, and people are like,
Okay. Did y'all pick up what he was putting down? He said a lot of things. Okay, so we're going to break down just a little bit, but I want you to let me know in the comments, what did you get so far? All right, we ain't done just yet. What did you get so far? So just a couple of things is when you are walking in purpose work, there are going to be all kinds of people that will try to connect with you, collaborate with you. And it is okay to collaborate with others, but use your discernment, okay? You do not have to work alone in your purpose work. And a lot of times your purpose work is beyond you, so you can't do it by yourself. Anyway, some of us try and it doesn't work out the way that we might want to. It is okay to work with others. You do not have to do it by yourself. You shouldn't have to. The vision and the purpose and that thing that pulls you every day, that calls you every day, has to be bigger than you because you can't do it by yourself. All right. Be discerning when it comes to having a tribe. Everybody is not your people. Everybody is not going to have your best interests at heart. Everyone is not there with the right intentions. You have to have a discerning spirit to know who's for you and who's not, or you will get the brunt end of the stick and you'll find out the hard way. You'll go through heartbreak and all those things. Be mindful, okay? Be careful of when others give self-serving advice. When they give you advice for the purpose of elevating themselves or benefiting them and not you, be mindful of that because that can hurt you in the long run. That's why it is very important to choose your circle wisely because they can make or break you, literally. Maintain your vision, okay? Despite what's going on, the vision was not given to anybody but you, and only you can fulfill the vision that was given to you. Of course, there will be help along the way, but you are the spearheader, you are the forerunner. You gotta make it happen. Okay? What did y'all hear? What did y'all hear? I want to see what y'all say in the comments. I wanna know. Alright, so while y'all are writing down what you got out of it, we're gonna move on to the next part.
Iceberg, and people are like, it's amazing what you've achieved. They're only looking above the ocean.
Yeah.
I'm still looking beneath the ocean. And I would always go, tip of the iceberg. And to this day, if you, no matter what compliments you'll pay me, I'll be grateful and I say thank you. But what's going through my mind is tip of the iceberg. And so I'm humbled by the tremendous amount of work that is still yet to be done. And what reminds me of, what keeps me going is sort of like the original founders of the women's suffrage movement in the United States. Every single one of them had died of natural causes before the first woman voted. Right? Now, I'm sure they would have loved to have lived to see a woman vote, but I can guarantee you that they died proud and with smiles on their faces, knowing that they built a momentum that other people could see what they imagined beneath the ocean and would carry the torch without them. And that's sort of what I live for. I live for the desire to spread a message in a way that I can die with confidence that other people will carry the torch without me. And, I look at somebody like Oprah, and as remarkable as she is, and she put her face on every cover of every magazine. The magazine is named after her. Her everything is named after her, and she's on. And if she dies, it dies.
Yeah.
I mean, a remarkable human being who's done remarkable good in the world, but it's her.
Yeah.
And I've worked very hard to make it not about me. We changed our company from, to the optimism company. And, we remind our team that, they're optimists. That's what they are. That we call our team optimists. And like, I every year, I don't think we're 100% there yet, but every year the goal is that if I were to get hit by a bus, I can say with pride that the work will continue, because it has to, because it must, because the vision is bigger than all of us.
It's wouldn't say that's an optimistic way to finish, talking about getting hit by a bus. But I think it
is a brilliant optimistic way to finish.
Yes,
but to know that the
maybe
momentum will carry
correct.
without me, it's great. I love that.
And it will. We could talk for hours. Would you come back sometime?
I'd be honoured. Thank you.
It was really interesting.
Thank you.
Before we let you go, though, we have a few quick fire questions we'd like to run by you.
Okay. Chocolate. Oh, sorry, you haven't started yet.
It's the correct answer. Off you go. The 3 non-negotiable behaviours that you and the people around you should buy into.
Integrity, honor, not the same thing.
Explain that one, sorry. When
Sure.
you say honour.
So honor is a word that still exists in the military that seems to have fallen away in polite society. Chivalry is gone. There was a time where your word was it. And you wouldn't violate your word, because then if people knew that you violated your word, no one would want to do business with you, right? Like, it really, honor mattered.
I love that.
And I'll give you an example. For me, what honor has nothing to do with reliability or intelligence or even honesty. You can have people who are honest and reliable and dishonorable. Honest and reliable, but dishonorable. Dishonor for me, or honor, is doing something that's dishonorable, is taking advantage of somebody else's bad situation for personal gain. That's dishonorable. And if you're willing to put aside your own interests, ego, ambition, because somebody else is struggling, then that to me is honorable. And this happens all the time. Like when a company is struggling, that an employee walks into their boss and say, I want my raise now. Like, now? That's when you're going to ask? Because somebody told you have leverage or you have the cards? It's dishonorable. I want them out. I don't care how much more I'm going to have to suffer. I want them out. Whereas if they knuckle down and help us get through the really, really hard times and then come and say, listen, I was there with you through all the hard times. I'd really think I'd like a little more. I'd be like, yeah, cool, let's have that conversation. But doing it when someone is struggling, I think, is dishonorable. So for me, honor is really big. So integrity, doing the right thing, high ethical standards, honor, and I think willingness to take yourself on. is the third one. It's very difficult being a human being. Cats don't have to work very hard to be cats, but humans have to work very hard to be humans. And the people who are on my team, every new team member, when they join our team, I like how this was supposed to be quickfire. Every new member of our team gets a phone call from me and says, A, you're part of something bigger than yourself. Always remember that. And B, I have one expectation of you. Whether you stay with this company for a short term or a long term, I expect you to leave here a better version of yourself than when you started. I expect you to take yourself on. We'll give you some of that education, and some of it I expect you to seek out by yourself. But you got to take yourself on. And I think that's a non-negotiable.
If you could go back to one moment in your life, what would it be and why?
It's a very difficult question, because I think now is the best time to be. I'm grateful for all the experiences I had, good and bad, throughout my life, but I don't really want to go and relive any of them. So I don't actually know how to answer the question.
If you could give one piece of advice to a young Simon, what would you say?
You don't have to know every answer, and you don't have to pretend you do. I wish I learned that lesson earlier.
I bet.
What's the most valuable piece of advice you've ever received?
The most valuable, I don't know, but I can give you one or two very valuables. Get over yourself. When I'm complaining about something and somebody leans over and just get over yourself. Like,
that's your sister.
Yeah. I think that is, and sometimes I'll catch myself doing it to myself. Like, I'm whining about something. I'm like, get over yourself. I think that's way up there. Another one that I got that I live by. I was young in a big company, and the senior client came in, and my job was, I got to be in the senior meeting with all the senior people from my company and the senior people from the client, and my job was to work the PowerPoint. Like, that was my job. And I just had to make it go next. But I worked on the account every day, so sometimes they were talking about something, and because I was in the weeds and they weren't, I would offer up some answers, not because I was trying to impress anybody, it's just because I actually knew what was going on and they didn't. And at the end of the meeting, this woman who was like my work mom, she was one of the senior partners of the company, she put her arm around me as we walked out the door, and she looked at me and she goes, 3/4 of an answer is better than an answer and a half. And that has stuck with me to this day. Like, when I'm sitting in meetings and I could offer more, and I just don't. 3/4 of an answer is better than an answer and a half.
Love that. For people listening to this who feel content and happy and okay and stable, but they don't know their why, what would you say to them?
Well, you could do the friends exercise, which is really fun. And it's a really fun way to do it. And, I've tried to produce resources to help people in what suits them. So the friends exercise is one way you can do it. I wrote a book called Find Your Why, which if you want to go through a workbook, we have ways to do it. If you go to simonsinek.com, you can have one-on-one somebody help you. You can take a course. You can do it with a group. I've tried to do it in as many ways as possible because I want everybody to learn their why. And so I've tried to do it in all the different ways, whatever works. But do one of them.
Great.
Yeah.
And the final question, Simon, is what's your one golden rule for anyone seeking to live a high-performance life?
It's the golden rule is it has to be for the benefit of others. High performance for the benefit of yourself, I don't really know what that means, because at some point, I want to make £1 million, I want to make £2 million. Like, you're going to keep just moving the goal lines, and it'll feel like a treadmill. At some point, you're going to crash. It's going to happen. But when you live a high performance life for the benefit of others, it's infinite. You can do it forever, and it's rewarding till the day you die.
Simon, thank you so much for coming on High Performance.
Thanks so much for having me. This is really, really a wonderful conversation. Thank you.
It's been a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Really enjoyed it. Really. Hey guys, it's Jake here. Listen, before you go, please do me just one favour. Hit subscribe. It makes such a difference to us. The more subscribers we get, then the bigger the channel becomes. The bigger the channel becomes, the bigger the names we can attract and the more impact we can have for you. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe right now.
Okay. The sun is shining. You see it? All right. Yes. So we finally got to the end of Simon. Yes, we did. And I hope you got all the gems that he dropped, because he was dropping. Okay. Maintain your integrity, maintain your honor. Don't do things just for the benefit of yourself, right? Um, be purposeful with your actions, with your intentions. Be mindful. Do some self analysis, right? All of that is a part of purpose work, because how you interact with others and your intentions behind their actions when it comes to other people is going to show in all that you do. So just be mindful of your motives, be mindful of your mindset, and be mindful of the actions and behaviors that you do while you are walking in your purpose work. When it comes to integrity, don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself out for $1. Do things that have meaning, not just dollar signs, because that comes and goes. I seen a video where the guy had money and he ripped up the bill. I think it was a $20 bill. He ripped it up. He said, "This is no longer valuable because it's ripped up. You can't use it anywhere. Now what are you going to do?" And so many people chase this, and just as quick as I had it, it's ripped up, it's gone, it has no value. So let's not put our value in something that value can go away that quick. Great advice. We sometimes are chasing the wrong things. Chase purpose instead. Um, Protect yourself, right? Everybody doesn't have your best interest at heart. Be mindful of who you give yourself to, the energy you put yourself around. Protect yourself, protect your energy at all costs. Maintain your vision. It is supposed to be bigger than you, like I said earlier. Keep your word bond, right? No one likes somebody who doesn't keep their word. You're not considered trustworthy. You're not considered someone that I can depend on if you say one thing and it's always something else, because you want that in return. So be that for others. And like I said, your purpose is bigger than you. Keep that in mind. And remember the golden rule that Simon said: whatever you do, do it for the benefit of others, because what you do for others always comes back to you. If you always think about you first, you are not in the mindset to perform at your highest peak. Okay. I hope you all enjoyed this segment of Meeting of the Minds. Don't worry. We are going to close out the year with part 8. So stay tuned to hear another powerful segment that we are going to jump into when we come back. But I hope you all enjoyed yourself. And until next time, I want you all to have an amazing day and an awesome rest of your week. Intelexx here, and welcome to Intelexx Artrepreneur Agency, the Indeed for Artists. If you want to be a part of the intellectual community, check us out. We have so much going on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and everywhere in between. And we even got our own app, okay? So make sure to check us out. Go to Intelexx.com. Go to our link tree. Look us up on social media at Intelexx APC so that we can best serve you. All right, we thank you so much for being a part of our vision. We appreciate you. And we wouldn't be here without all of our amazing subscribers and supporters. Don't forget to sign up for the talent show every month, and someone always leaves with a prize. And don't forget to take advantage of all of our special offers, our events, our merch, our resources, our referrals, because we are here to serve you, okay? And thank you for the love. Until next time.